The president meeting this hour with his Secretary of State to go over some final strategy before Secretary Pompeo heads up to New York for meetings with Yong Chol, who you pointed out has just landed in New York. Whether or not this summit goes ahead on June the 12th could well hinge on how those meetings go. They're clearly going to see if they're enough on the same page that they can have the two leaders sit down with each other and try to forge an agreement going forward. Yong Chol is someone who Secretary Pompeo has gotten to know over recent weeks, already meeting with him twice. Here's the State Department spokeswoman, Heather Nauert.
This will be the Secretary's third meeting with Yong Chol. They've had obviously very deep conversations where they've talked about a lot of detail about what the United States expectations are. I think it's important that we're going up to New York. I know the Secretary looks forward to engaging him in New York.
The White House is proceeding as if the summit is a go for June 12th. They have two teams in the East Asia region looking at one there. One of the teams is a logistics team headed up by the Deputy Chief of Staff for Operations, Joe Hagan, to figure out, what rooms you'll go to, who will meet with who, where, when, that sort of thing. They also have another team in the demilitarized zone to meet with North Korean officials to put together the diplomatic piece of this. The president last night in Nashville, not mentioning North Korea at all, but he did bring up his national security advisor, John Bolton. A lot of this went off the rails after John Bolton said on Fox News Sunday on the morning of April the 29th that he could see the Libyan model for denuclearization being applied to North Korea. North Korea kind of freaked out about all of that, and that's when the saber rattling started. The president last night in his rally in Nashville, though, with high praise for his national security advisor. Listen here.
Where's John Bolton? Great John Bolton. They think he's so nasty and so tough that I have to hold him back, okay? It's pretty great. And he's doing a great job. You better get some rest because we have some pretty good negotiations coming up.
Some pretty good negotiations coming. And yesterday on board Air Force One on the way to that rally in Nashville, Tennessee, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, the press secretary, sounding an optimistic note, saying the president's letter specifically said that we were open to the meeting at the time. Again, we expect it to take place. We'll see what happens. We're going to be prepared. And if it takes place on June the 12th, we'll certainly be prepared. If for some reason it takes place at a later date, we are prepared for that as well. I'm getting the sense from the White House, because everybody's waiting, Dana, for an announcement, the summit's back on. I'm getting a sense from talking to some folks here at the White House that there may not be an official announcement that the summit is back on because, God forbid, something happens and they have to cancel it again. Right. I think they may proceed just with the planning and then get on the plane and leave without ever saying that the summit's officially on.
Keep your bags packed, and I know you've had a lot of rain down there in Washington, D.C., which must mean that the lawnmowers need to get out there on the north lawn, so we appreciate you powering through that. Thanks, John.